Welcome to Envision Broadcasting, the station designed to encourage, equip, and empower you for growth and success presents The Momentum Shift. A show where we get inspired, we get moving, and we get results. Every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern with your host, Eric Collier. He's the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, bringing you inspiring interviews and empowering stories that will help to improve lives. If you're ready to start making the impossible possible, then you've joined the right show, because the momentum shift is what you've been looking for.
And then every time we cross the border, I get stopped. I'd ask extra questions. I get my luggage searched. I get my person searched. And every time it hit me, this is what I have to go through as a Black man. Okay. These are the struggles. These are the obstacles. And it just lowered my ambitions. Okay. It slowed my progress in my life. And things where I thought, I just need to get to that 10. I was happy to get to a 6 now.
Okay. So you dropped it down, dropped the goal down a little bit.
Yeah. And this happens for a lot of people. I mean, when we're young, it's like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be the president. It's like, now, I just want to get my bills paid this month. Like, that's my goal.
Hello and welcome to The Momentum Shift, a show designed to get you inspired, get you moving, so you can get results. Why? Because I want you to live in the impossible. My guests want you to live in the impossible. So whatever it is you're looking at right now and you're saying to yourself, I can't do it, I'm not good enough. Well, today we got a guest that's going to help share with you some of the challenges that he's overcome and share you some tools, techniques, and methods that he's used to really help himself create the new reality as well as help others. So with me today is Shiraz. He's a multi-award-winning author, international speaker, and reality interventionist. He is known for helping people to rewrite their reality and overcome challenges in their lives using what he calls energetic magic. Shiraz has helped thousands of people to overcome illness, poverty, and unconsciously addicted struggles. Overall, he is a renowned personality in the area of reality addiction, and his book, How to Rewrite Reality, has changed lives across the globe. Ladies and gentlemen, with me today, Shiraz. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. See, Eric, it's great to be here.
Man, glad to have you. Glad to have you. So I'm really excited about diving into your story. I'm really, like I said, interested in how you help others overcome the blockage that they have, go from being stuck to living in that new reality. So with that, I got to ask my first question, and it's always this. What does momentum shift mean to you, and how has it changed your life?
Momentum shift it almost sounds self-explanatory. You're going at a certain speed and you're like, I'm done with this speed. Let's just ramp it up.
All right.
And the sad thing for a lot of people is that speed is almost zero.
Okay.
For a lot of people on the planet. So momentum shift for me is not just the shift in speed of accomplishment of success. It's the shift in attitude, this shift in emotion, going from struggle, frustration to happiness, to joy, to enthusiasm. Okay. It's all part of the big thing as you shift up to that new reality.
Right. And I like what you said. It's about going at a certain pace, and then you stopped and you got to figure out, I want to go at a different pace. And so when we look at your story, man, if you can share a little bit on your story, but I mean to go from, I'll let you tell them. Go ahead. Because I know many people don't know this man has done some great things. Listen to this story.
So with me, one of the big things that was a problem in my life was, I thought it was actually racism, but it wasn't. And I thought it was racism.
Okay.
But it wasn't. And this is where the story really affected my life, is that when I was young, I mean, I'm a mutt. I'm a mixture of African, Indian, Malaysian, Dutch.
Okay.
Right? And
okay.
Yeah, I'm a mutt. So I present as mostly Black and Indian, although people have said I'm Egyptian, Moroccan, Brazilian. And then so I had to deal with some racism growing up. But when I started traveling, I started getting stopped at every single border crossing.
Okay.
It started when we got back from Rio de Janeiro, me and my friends, and customs officer said, I need to ask you more questions after we had gone through customs. And so I told my friends, hey, they need to ask us more questions. He's like, no, not them, just you.
Just you.
My friends who were white, I was black, and I'm like, okay, I know what's going on.
Gotcha.
And then every time we crossed the border, I get stopped. I'd ask extra questions. I get my luggage searched. I get my person searched. And every time it hit me, this is what I have to go through as a black man. Okay. These are the struggles. These are the obstacles. And it just lowered my ambitions. Okay. It slowed my progress in my life. And things where I thought, I just need to get to that 10. I was happy to get to a 6 now.
Okay. So you dropped it down, dropped the goal down a little bit.
Yeah. And this happens for a lot of people. I mean, when we're young, it's like, I want to be an astronaut. I want to be the president. It's like, now, I just want to get my bills paid this month. Like, that's my goal.
Yeah,
Right. So, and so the worst one that was actually the big turning point for me was I was in Spain, in Madrid, and I finally crossed the border and I didn't get checked. And I'm like, oh my God, things are looking up.
Yeah.
And then an undercover officer comes up and says, I need to see your passport.
What?
and so I handed my passport and he says, there's no visa here. You need a visa. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm from Canada. Canadians don't need a visa to be in Spain. He goes, no, you need a visa. So he throws me in a paddy wagon. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? I'm in a paddy wagon now. Right. And he throws the black guy in, another black guy in, another black guy in. I'm like, wow. Okay. I see what's going on. They take us to jail to all be processed. And that includes a strip search and an anal cavity search.
Oh, man.
So I'm in line waiting and watching these guys. And it was just to humiliate us, to make us feel less than, like we all knew what was going on. And I'm getting into more and more anxiety as I'm getting closer to the front of the line. And then finally, it's my turn. Now, a couple of things that escaped my awareness because of all the anxiety. Number one was I was in the best shape of my life at the time. I was a bodybuilder. And number two was that we were in view of the holding cell with the working girls.
So when girls,
the prostitutes.
Got you. Yeah.
So when my clothes came off, that cell erupted with like, ooh, baby, I love it. You got it going on. And I'm like, okay, this is not so bad. I can do this. I got a cheering section. But then I spent the night on a concrete floor, and then I got the hell out of the country the next day.
Yeah. When
I got home, I was talking to my coach about what had just happened, my latest border crossing story. And he said, Shiraz, are you ready to step out of this story? Now, I got pissed because I'm like, this is a story. This is racism. Racism is a real thing.
Right.
And he said, yes, racism's a real thing. Racism is bad. But what you're going through is a story. I'm like, what are you talking about? And here's the thing. We all have stories.
Yeah.
We think we have good stories and we have bad stories. Like I find the best parking spots.
Right.
Or no one ever listens to me. Right.
Right.
It's it never rains when I go on picnics, and versus I can never have enough money in the bank.
Yeah.
But to our unconscious minds, every story is a good story. We just don't realize that.
Because I'm somebody who believes that the largest gap an individual will face is the gap that stands between where they are now and what they could become. So the question becomes, are you willing to climb? The greatest trick the mind will ever pull is convincing you that your greatness does not exist. Mama used to say, she said, Eric, what you do in the dark will come out in the light. And she means that you reap what you sow. You get what you put in. And so you got to put the work in. Why? Because you're going to step your game up and tap into that untapped potential of yours and become the greatest person that you can possibly become.
I woke up, I was about to lose everything. And so my wife was about to leave me, and that meant my 3 children were going to be gone, which really hurt me because I would fall short on a promise to my kids where I told them that I was their father. Nobody would ever be in their house taking care of them. Nobody would be responsible for them. They never had to worry about calling anybody daddy but me. Momentum shift. When you get stuck, you got to find a way to get going. And that is all about elevating your performance. You have to realize that high-level results are not products of low-level effort. So you got to step your game up. So you get stuck, you got to get yourself moving. And when you're down in the dumps, you're the only one that's going to be there. So you got to be your own hype man.
What happens is when you don't realize that you have all that you ever need to create the life that you want to live,
you're missing out. You're standing at the base of that mountain thinking and hoping somebody's gonna save you when all you gotta do is take action. Theodore Roosevelt said, he said that the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena with their face marred in dust with sweat and blood. You've got to get in the arena, claim your moment, take the opportunity to take your shot. Then when you're in that arena, think about this. I gotta step my game up.
Eric's message was extremely powerful.
The power of overcoming is not just connected to you. You're rising because the people behind you are counting on you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
And so he was telling me that this was a good story. And I'm like, what? And I said, there's no, like, the reason it's a good story is there's always a benefit. So like, if you're not making enough money, the benefit could be that, well, I made a lot of money once and I lost it all, and I'm still holding shame over that.
Okay.
So if I make a lot more money, I might lose it again and feel shame. So I just won't make the money. Problem solved.
Right.
Or if I make a lot of money, people are going to come up and say, can I have some? Can you invest in my company? You need to take care of me now. And I don't want to deal with that. So your mind says, well, let's just not make the money. We don't have to deal with that.
Gotcha.
And you can create reason after reason after reason not to have money.
Right.
And although consciously you're like, I need some money, I'm struggling to pay my bills, unconsciously you're like, no, we're safe. No one's going to bother us, right?
Right.
Don't have to pay taxes. Don't have to feel shame.
Yeah. What is it, that story they use? More money, more problems?
Yes.
So
right?
they use that to
you say that, then you're not going to have a lot of money.
Right.
And that's it. So these are all running in your subconscious. You don't realize, but it's for money, it's for success, it's for health, it's for relationships. Every consistent bad story in your life is actually a good story to your subconscious mind.
Gotcha.
So I'm still confused with my coach because I know this. I've been taught this, I've been teaching it. And I'm like, all right, where's the benefit? What's the hidden gem that I'm not seeing?
Right.
Because I'm getting delayed, I'm getting humiliated, I'm getting frustrated. I'm not striving as much as I used to. Where's the payoff here? And he goes, Shiraz, when you tell your border crossing stories, you light up. You feed off other people's emotional reactions to your struggle. It feels like love to you. And so you're constantly looking for that love and validation from other people, and you can't keep telling the same border crossing story. People will get bored. So you got to keep getting stopped at borders over and over so you have new source material.
Right.
And I was just like, damn.
Wow.
Nailed it. Like I didn't even see it.
Yeah. Wow.
And so this is where I say this actually isn't a story about racism. This is a story about addiction.
Yeah.
I was addicted to that love from other people. So I kept creating scenarios so I could keep getting that love.
Right. So
and
you
so
were
I
the
made
victim,
it.
you kept getting the attention.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I made a decision in that moment that I'm not going to get love from other people through my struggles, through my hardship. Right. I'm going to get it through my success.
All right.
And when I made that decision, I stopped getting stopped at borders. I haven't been stopped since.
Okay.
All right. And here's the crazy thing. Do you know there are non-white customs agents?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, I didn't. I was unconsciously lining myself up with the white ones to ensure there was racism.
Really? Wow.
Right? I didn't even know I was doing it. But now the glass has been taken off. I can see exactly what's going on.
Right.
I was unconsciously doing stuff to make myself look kind of suspicious so that they'd stop me and ask questions so I could justify, well, this is about racism and not about me doing something stupid.
Right. Yeah. So is that kind of in line with your I forget what I know the acronym is RAS, R-A-S, but I can't think of what it reticular activation system.
Reticular activation system.
There we go. Yeah. Is that in line? Was that what that was? It's like that's yeah.
And so I was doing that unconsciously when I was ever in those situations.
Yeah.
And this was such an important lesson, not for me, but for my clients, because there are so many people out there that are constantly complaining, I can't get ahead, or there's so much more adversity because I'm Black or Indian or a woman or this age or this weight or because of where I came from. And if you're constantly complaining it over and over again, you're actually addicted to the story and creating circumstances to justify that you're right.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how did you go about changing that? I mean, it's not something that you can do overnight. Did you actually believe in it at that time?
So here it is. It is something you can do overnight,
Okay.
but it's not always something that happens overnight.
Okay.
So when it comes to shifting your mindset and shifting beliefs, sometimes you absolutely get it, you nail it. In that case, I did, and I just stopped getting stopped at borders.
Yeah.
For other things, it takes reinforcement, it takes work, it takes doing mindset exercises to start to see progress.
Okay.
So there's been a bunch of things in my life where I'm working through them. It's like making more money has taken time, but
Okay.
it's through the journey I got to 7 figures.
Gotcha.
Right? I used to have rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah, I think that's I heard your speech on that. You talking about that, but please go ahead and share. I love it.
Yeah, so I got it when I was 22 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and I suffered with it for 18 years, trying everything. I tried medication, I tried diet, supplements, yoga, acupuncture, nothing worked.
Right.
And it wasn't until I met a mentor at the flagship in India to meet this guy. And and I thought he was going to do some sort of Reiki energy healing stuff on me.
Right.
All he did was talk to me for about 2 weeks about what was going on through my entire life.
Uh-huh.
And at the end of the 2 weeks, he goes, "Well, Shiraz, you think you're responsible for everyone in your life?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." He goes, "Oh, no, I know you don't think you do. But from everything you've told me, you've created this belief that you needed to be responsible for everyone since you were 8 years old."
Right.
I'm like, "What?" And because I've been talking to him about my whole life for 2 weeks. I'm not even understanding where he gets this information from.
Right.
But it would come out of my mouth at some point. And so then I said, "Okay, but even if that's true, what's that got to do with arthritis?" And he said, "Well, you don't want to be responsible for everyone. That's too much work." I went, "Yeah." He goes, "And if you're lying in bed in pain, you don't have to be responsible for anyone, and you don't have to feel guilty about it."
Yeah.
Right? If people see you struggling to get through your day, they're not going to ask you to take care of them. So the arthritis isn't the problem. Again, it's not the problem.
Right.
It was the solution.
Yeah.
Right?
Got you.
And that just blew my mind.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm doing this to myself. Right?
Yeah, that's interesting. So at one point, it goes back to being the victim, right?
Yep.
So if you're the victim, you can get the attention so that everybody's around you and loving you. If you're the victim, you don't have to ask me for anything. I can get out of everything. I can get out of doing those things I really don't want to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when I look back at it through my life, I'd done some traveling, even when I had the arthritis.
Yeah.
And it was funny because every time I left the country, my body got better.
Okay.
And everyone said, "Well, you're changing the climate." But what I realized was I was going away from everyone I felt responsible for. So my body eased up and the arthritis went away.
Yeah.
And then when I came back, the arthritis kicked in. And I realized later that the arthritis would kick in a couple weeks before I left in anticipation of getting back to the country.
Yeah. All the stuff you're telling yourself and going through all the scenarios you're going through in your head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when he told me that, I said, "Okay, so if what you're saying is true, all I have to do is say I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me, and the arthritis should go away."
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, if you actually believe it deep down." So I gathered my will and I said, "I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me."
Yeah.
And the next day, no pain, no inflammation, more mobility, and I could even breathe better. So I'm freaking out because this has been 18 years, and overnight it's gone.
Yeah.
Right?
Everybody knows about arthritis. It's like, no, it's not going anywhere.
No, gone.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, the damage done to my body was still there.
Gotcha.
It's that the pain, the inflammation was gone. So when I talk about sometimes it happens instantaneously and sometimes it's a journey, repairing my body has been a journey.
Gotcha.
Getting rid of the arthritis was like a miracle.
Yeah.
And when you're willing to go through the journey, this is what a lot of people don't get. When you're willing to go through the journey, you get miracles dropped along the way.
Okay.
But if you're just looking for that miracle, chances are it's not going to show up.
Right.
Right? Because you're trying to shortcut it. You're not willing to do everything that's necessary. You want the quick fix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So you're trying to rush it along so you're not going through the process like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the irony is when we talk about a momentum shift, when you're willing to go through whatever it takes for as long as it takes, the momentum shifts and gets faster.
Yeah.
So when you're willing to go slower, it gets faster. When you need it to go faster, it stops.
Right. Right. Yeah, because you're pushing it. I got you. I like it. Just get in the process and enjoy being in the process. That's the key, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So how long? So let's talk about what you do now. Let's talk about your book real quick. What
Mhm.
brought the book along? And the book again is I missed it. Sorry about that. It's reality, rewrite your reality. There we go.
Yeah. How to
Rewrite
rewrite.
reality.
Yeah. So it's like right there on my shelf.
Yeah.
So with this book, it's actually a funny story about the book because I was looking for more visibility.
Okay.
And someone said, when you write a book, you get more visibility.
Yeah.
You'll get on more stages, you'll get access to more places. So I thought, okay, I'll write a book. So I started writing this book just based on what I knew and just hoping that it wasn't even like I wanted to have meaning, but it was more like I get taught it's like a thick business card. It's a gateway to things, and most people aren't even going to read it. But I thought, no, I'm going to put some good stuff in here as
Right.
much as I can. And as I was writing it, all these new ideas just came to me. Like it's just like they were being downloaded in.
Okay.
And I came up with this whole thing on the genre system. What genre are you living in? Are you in tragedy or the horror genre? Or are you
Yeah.
up in action adventure or comedy? And when I put the book out, people were reading it and reading about the genre system, like, oh my God, everything makes sense when you put it this way. It's like,
Yeah.
I've been living in drama my whole life and I need to be in comedy. And it was just crazy that like what was happening when people were reading this book. One of my clients gave the book to his son, and his son, who had been in a depression for 3 years, came out of depression after reading the book.
Wow.
Right?
Impacting lives. Because
Yeah.
nobody would ever think about your life being in a genre, right?
No.
We talk about errors, right? Baby boomers and Gen X's and all that, or Gen Z's and all that. But you never think about your life being in a genre. That's music.
Yeah. That's it.
Where'd that idea come from?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like I decided, like, it was called How to Rewrite Reality. So I thought, let's do this in the metaphor of stories.
Yeah.
Right. And so even the chapter names is like plot twists, happily ever after, right? Your backstory, the supporting characters,
Yeah.
like all of that metaphor, because I figured people will really relate and understand because everyone loves stories.
Yeah.
And in the different genres, there's a horror genre, the tragedy, the drama, action adventure, documentary,
Yeah.
right? Comedy. And so everyone could relate to that.
Yeah.
And we all go through different genres throughout the day, but we have a default one that we're in more than any other.
Okay.
And when you figure out what that is, then you start to really learn a lot about yourself. Because I find a lot of people think, no, I'm in like comedy, I have a lot of fun.
Right.
But then they realize, no, I'm in drama.
Got you. So you're being the victim was the drama genre. And then and so because I've seen your video, you got a little comedy and you're a singer, right?
I try to sing. I try to sing.
I really thought that was loose ends, man. I thought that. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you get a chance, check out his video on YouTube where he's talking about how he's bouncing back from this called the comeback, and he starts off with singing loose ends. Was it how? Oh, no, it's soul. What is soul to soul?
Soul to soul.
Soul to soul. What is soul to soul? That's right. Yeah, soul to soul. However, do you want me? Back to life. I was laughing. I said, "Wow, that's a way to sing. A way to start off a great speech because you got everybody talking in the background and you hear them and you start singing and they're like, oh, okay. Then they're getting into it and you shut them down. I love that technique."
It was funny because one of my coaches, my speaking coaches, she said, you want to connect to the audience eye to eye and soul to soul. When she said soul to soul, my brain just went, oh, I know what I'm doing.
What is soul to soul? I like it. But talk to me, man. So So you've gone on this journey, and what are you doing now with these skills and techniques?
So now it's about teaching everyone what I know.
Okay.
It's about empowering them to change their reality,
Yeah.
to get out of the addiction to their current reality.
Right.
Because a lot of people don't realize it is a physical addiction,
Yeah.
right? So
And I've
if
never
you're
heard it like that either. I think I never, I've heard people say, well, that person's addicted to drinking and smoking and everything else. But you never hear people say, well, you're addicted to the drama. You're addicted to being the victim.
but you absolutely are.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, your body wants to be addicted to something.
Gotcha.
It's actually your default state to be addicted to something.
Okay.
Except most people aren't choosing what they're addicted to.
Right.
Right. For instance, when we talk about a default genre, within each genre is a bunch of emotions.
Okay.
So let's say that your default genre is the horror genre and your default emotion is worry. Constantly worry, am I going to pay the bills? Is everyone going to be all right? You're addicted to worry.
Right.
What they found out, this has scientifically been shown, is that your cells create receptors to receive the chemicals associated with worry, because every emotion causes a different chemical concoction to flood your body.
So that's kind of like when I want cake, my body prepares myself for cake, right?
Okay. Yes, exactly.
Before I even get it, I'm sitting there thinking about cake. No, I'm just kidding. All right, cool. But that's kind of the same, right?
It's kind of the same, but it's probably more like you can be addicted to sugar.
Yeah. Hey,
So
don't tell me that. Oh,
okay.
don't tell me that. That's a tough challenge to overcome.
Oh, it is. Can be, yes.
But if that's the story I want to keep,
if you want to keep that stuff, if it works for you. I mean, I like my sugar. I don't think I'm
that's how I keep my six-pack abs covered.
I'm gonna go from six-pack to a keg, man.
Right. But no, I'm sorry. Yeah, but so your body prepares you for the drama. So kind of like a fighter who would be preparing for a boxing match, or a football player, athlete preparing for battle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your body has become dependent on, let's say, drama.
Yeah.
And so if you decide that you want to now be happy and your default emotion can be happiness,
right,
then the drama drugs stop hitting your system.
Okay.
The receptors are there to put that stuff into your cells, and your cells are like, where are they?
Yeah.
So they send a signal to your brain saying, put this person in drama.
Gotcha.
Because we need our fix.
That's our self-sabotage.
Yes. This is physically happening in your body.
Yeah.
And so something comes up and you go into drama, someone says something or something triggers you. Now you're in drama, the chemicals flood your body, they hit the receptors and your cells go, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Right?
I got it.
I got my drama.
Yeah.
Now, consciously, you're like, why is this drama keep coming up in my life? Why doesn't it stop? But really, you're in this place of addiction. The key here is to stay happy so long that your cells are like, well, we're not going to get the drama drugs anymore.
Yeah.
So they change the receptors on your cells to ones that receive the drugs for happiness, because that's what it's finding flooding in your system.
Okay.
So now you're addicted to happiness.
I like it.
Right?
What better to be addicted to?
Right. But this is physically been proven how it works.
Yeah.
And so now here's the cool thing. If you're addicted to happiness and drama shows up, then your cells get the chemicals for drama, but the receptors are for happiness. They're like, send a signal to his brain, make him happy.
Yeah, yeah.
Because we need our fix.
I like it. There we go. That's that battle within we got to overcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the same for a whole bunch of scenarios. It's the same for how much money you make, what your relationships are like. Like this happens with a lot of people. And I've been there, when you just pay your bills at the end of the month. You just get paid off, right?
Just pay them off.
So when you just pay them off, you get hit with dopamine, adrenaline, oxytocin. And so your body's like, that feels good.
Yeah.
Let's do this every month. So we can get a fix at the end of every single month.
Right. So basically, psychologically, I'm putting myself in the mindset of I need to struggle, and then pull off the big win at the end of the month. And then I'm like, good. And then start that cycle all over again.
Absolutely.
Ooh.
Yeah. And You don't realize you're addicted to it, but then you see the pattern every month and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, crap.
Man, yeah, because just flashbacks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have the money. I don't make enough money. Where am I gonna get the money? Yeah. Oh wow. And I didn't realize it was a psychological thing like that. I didn't realize that. And so
And
I guess that explains why many people will live their lives in that mindset, because what we're talking about it today with somebody is it's it's crazy to believe that many people live that way and don't even realize that they can change things.
mhm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We think it's just circumstance. We think it's just the way the world works
Yeah.
because no one teaches. Well, very few people teach. No,
Right.
you're creating it all. You just don't
Yeah.
realize you're doing it.
Are you feeling stuck, dreaming of a life beyond your current boundaries? I'm Eric Collier, and I've been where you are. Now, as an international speaker, 3-time international best-selling co-author, veteran, and the host of the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I've dedicated my life to helping people just like yourself embark on a transformative journey to unlocking your inner greatness. With my wealth of experience and a proven track record, I guide individuals to break through barriers and create life-changing momentum shifts. Having been featured in news and magazine articles, on television shows, and spoken on stages like the National Press Club and Columbia University, my message has inspired people worldwide to turn the impossible into possible. On my show, the Momentum Shift podcast and radio show, I'm committed to sparking a movement that empowers others to shift momentum in their lives, offering motivational insights, interviews, and thought-provoking discussions. If you are ready to redefine what's possible and unlock your potential, then subscribe to my mailing list for exclusive content and updates. Join a community of motivated individuals just like yourself on the path to greatness. Subscribe now and transform your life at CEricCollier.com. That's CEricCollier.com. Because there's so socially, there's that stereotype of where you come from, what you look like, your body composition, your parents' income, all these different things. And so you're expected to do these things these things are associated with how you were brought up, or
Yes.
where you come from, what side of town you come from. And
Yeah.
so it's ingrained in us, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you can change it. Right?
Yeah.
And that's the wonderful thing. And there's been, there's so many stories of people that have been homeless and become millionaires,
Yeah.
been
My
ill and
favorite story is the CEO of happiness, Mr. Christopher Gardner.
oh yeah.
Yeah, the pursuit of happiness.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean that's a great example
Yeah.
because you're in a horrible place and you decide to pursue happiness. Like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that it's a crazy thing because it's not, no, I want to make a lot of money. I want to pursue happiness.
Yeah.
Right.
The process of being happy. I
Yeah.
think what I like about it most is you talk about you can change things, you can create a new reality where most people don't believe that. So share I know we talked a little bit about a lot of it about it, but what are some of the challenges people are going to have to overcoming that? You know what I mean?
Okay.
Because there's a lot mentally that we're battling.
So the thing you have to remember is that number one, your body's trying to create an addiction.
Mhm.
So you want to decide what addiction you're creating.
Okay. So that's the
Number,
genre you're in.
yeah.
Okay.
Number two is your body tries to avoid emotional distress and it prioritizes that over physical circumstances.
Mm.
Okay. And
Okay.
the emotions it tries to avoid the most are guilt and shame.
Okay.
So for instance, I didn't want to feel guilty for not being able to take care of everyone in my life.
Got you.
So I created arthritis as the solution because your body doesn't care about the physical. It cares about
Right.
escaping the emotional distress.
Got you.
Right.
Okay.
Even with money, a lot of people don't want to say no to other people.
Right.
They need to have an excuse. Right. Because you can't, like, if I say, we're going out to the show, it's and you're like, I don't want to do that. Most people don't say I don't want to do that. It's like, no, I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Or I'm not feeling well. Or
Mhm.
oh, that show, I can't afford that show. And all it is to try to avoid guilt,
Yeah.
right? By saying no to your friends.
Right.
But when you do that, what happens is your unconscious mind says, instead of lying to them about something,
Right.
let's create an actual physical circumstance in your life so you've got it in your back pocket.
Yeah.
So
I
if
don't
your
have
story
money.
is, that's it.
My wife not gonna buy into that. I got my kids. I got to go pick up the kids.
That's one of the biggest.
Yeah.
So the biggest ones are I can't afford it. I'm too busy. I'm too sick. I got the kids.
Yeah.
Because people don't argue with those four.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think you see it at work where people are assigned a task, and the day is due, they call out.
Mistake, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I remember even in high school, I was in track. I did the 800 meter.
Okay.
And
All right, man. That's a long run.
that was a long run, but I wasn't that fast, so I went the 800. So, and when we were at high school, I was at the top.
Okay.
When they said we're going to the regionals, whenever the regionals came up, I was sick that day. I felt comfortable at the high school, but I was afraid of losing at the regionals in front of all those people.
Gotcha.
So I got sick. And it wasn't until years later, after learning this stuff, I'm like, oh, that's why I got sick.
Got you. Wow. Yeah. So you the kingpin in that little in the district.
Little.
Yeah, but if I go out there, I might be exposed,
Yeah.
So kind of an imposter syndrome mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And you'll see this over and over again. You'll see that people that are actors are fine in their thing, but then they have a chance to go to Hollywood and they're like, oh, I got sick, or I broke my leg, or it just wasn't going to work out.
Yeah.
Some of the athletes that blow a knee out just as they're about to go to the professional league.
Yeah.
It's not a coincidence.
Right.
That's unconscious mind saying, oh, I'm too scared.
Right. Yeah, I had a friend of mine tell me his dad had a tryout with the major leagues, and he's a really good baseball player, actually better than his brother who made it to the major leagues. But the day of the tryout, he overslept.
Oh,
yeah. So self-sabotage method, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. If when you start talking about it like this, and you look at your situations and circumstances, you realize that not only can you create a new life, but you've created a situation now that you've got to dig yourself out of.
Yes.
And that mindset is, how do you help them create a mindset that says, I'm gonna come back from this?
So as I said, like we're talking about avoiding the emotional distress.
Yeah.
Every emotion you have is a choice.
Okay.
You don't think it's a choice because you think this is just how I react. This is how most people react.
Right.
But you've seen different people react in different situations based on how they grew up. So when you realize that feeling guilty for saying no to people is a choice you're making, then you can say, well, I'm just not going to feel guilty when I say no. It's like, no, I just don't want to do that. Case closed. And when you start applying that to different areas in your life, then the distress goes away.
Yeah.
When the distress goes away, the physical problems go away too, because they're not needed anymore.
Got you. Okay.
So when you've got a consistent physical problem in your life, that I'm not making the money, or I'm sick, or I keep meeting the wrong people, instead of saying, why is this happening to me? You want to ask, why am I making this happen?
Yeah.
From
Nobody
that
looks at
question.
that. Yeah. That's big, man. Nobody ever looks at that. It's the man hold me back. They're out to get me. Oh, yeah, man. Oh my goodness. You shed a light on something, man. I never even looked at it like that. I think that's huge. Because you hear about it all the time. A lot of your stressors cause illness, cause weakness, but you don't really look at it as though it's there because I'm hiding behind something else.
Yeah. So one big case for me was I got to $100,000 a year very quickly.
Okay.
But then I was stuck.
Yeah.
The highest I got to was 130. And then I would just sort of waver in there.
Right.
And I couldn't figure out why I couldn't make money. I said, I know how to make money. I see people doing it. I know the
Yeah.
techniques.
Now, this is with your business or is this with the job?
With the job and then with my business. And when I went
Okay.
independent, it was just, I thought independent would take me up. And it's just like, nope,
Right.
still stuck right there.
Yeah.
And then I figured out how to make $1 million.
Okay.
And I got in contact with John Assaraf from The Secret, Bob Proctor.
Okay.
I had relationships where I was actually talking to them. I'd hang out at Bob's house because he's in Toronto where I was.
Right.
We were trying to do deals so I could create an app with his. This is just when apps were first coming out. I'm like, Bob, you're like, get on this now, right?
Yeah. Get ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make these deals work. So I'm figuring I'm going to go from 100,000 to 1 million.
Yeah.
I went from 100,000 to 0 for 2 years.
You're trying to push the process.
I didn't know what was going on, and I was trying to do these deals. They got delayed. They fell apart. I keep thinking I'm going to come out of it, and so I'm spending like I'm going to make the money back.
Right.
So I ate through my savings, accumulated debt, and it wasn't until I said, you know what, I'm just going to go back getting a regular job. Almost immediately, I got the regular job at 100,000, and it just stayed steady. And I'm like, what the hell was that all?
Right.
And then later on, I thought, okay, you know what? I got to get through this. I got to get to the $1 million. But now I learned these techniques.
Okay.
So instead of saying, why can't I make $1 million? I asked, why do I only want to make $100,000?
Great question. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And then it hit me. When I was a teenager, my siblings and my friends were saying, Shiraz, you're smart. You're creative. We have no doubt you're going to make millions.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have that house on the beach. Right. You'll be traveling the world.
Right.
And then we get to come and hang with you at your house. We get to travel with you. We're all going to have this big party. And my brain went, oh my God, they're all going to leech off me.
Yeah. Right. You're carrying them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I made this unconscious decision that $100,000 is enough to live a comfortable life, but not so much that everyone gets to come and stay at my place and I have to pay for them.
Yeah.
And when I figured out how to get to 1 million, my subconscious panicked so much, it pushed me in the opposite direction as far as it could.
Because you knew that once you made that million or billion, they were going to be at your house every day, all day, every day.
That's it. And so when that finally came up and I realized that was going on, I said, you know what? If I make the million and they want to come hang out, no.
Just say no.
Right. And if I want to have them over for a weekend, that's fine. If I want to take them on a trip, that's fine. But it's not, no, we get to come along like the way they were making it sound.
Right. Yeah.
And then over the next 2 years, I went to 200,000 and then to 1 million in sales. And here's the thing. Last year was my first $1 million in sales. No one's coming to stay at me at my house. No one's asked. It was all in here, right? Because of these stations of teenagers.
Yeah. Right? The stories we create.
Yeah.
Yeah. I call it being stuck in mental quicksand. You know, for years, the doubt, fear, and worry that was stuck in here of, you know, hurting people's feelings and, not believing in myself and, you know, just scared to really step out there and do what I love to do, kept me in that mindset of, I don't have time. Now it's not the right time. I don't have the money. My wife's not going to really like that idea. I don't think that would be able to do that, you know? So I had my own stories. And what I say is the stories you tell yourself are what you sell yourself. And I really bought into that for years. And so I think you hit some things spot on right there when you talk about the things that we create. I didn't know I was creating I was creating my own unhappiness, right? But I did tell myself that I couldn't do it, and you know, I created my own place of being stuck.
Yeah. And that's what everyone's doing. And the crazy thing is, once you're stuck, your body creates the addiction around the stuckness because it wants to be addicted to something, and that becomes your reality.
Yeah. And you run around here looking like a little scared little puppy, like, help me, but you can help yourself, right?
Yep.
Always looking for help. Is somebody going to help me? This person said they'd come and help me if I ever got in a jam, but you could never find them because they're dealing with their own stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So what do you got? What do you got coming? What do you have coming up?
So coming up for me, every year I do an event called the Wealthy Healers Conference.
Okay.
And it's called Healers, but it's for healers and coaches.
Wealthy healers?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason I did it is because I found that the average salary for a healer or a coach is $35,000.
Okay.
And you got to keep in mind that there are some coaches that are making millions and they're pulling that number up. So
Right.
when we say 35,000, most are making less than that.
Got you.
And I'm like, if you're healing people, if you're coaching people to have a better life, you should be making at least 6 figures.
Got you.
So I created the conference so that I could bring in people that show you how to run a business.
Okay.
Because most healers and coaches is like, I'll just coach you, you pay me.
Right.
I'm like, that's not really a business. I mean,
Right. Right.
the basic requirements, but that's not a business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I get speakers that show you how to automate things, how to write a book properly, how to run a podcast,
Gotcha.
how to, how to scale. And so you get all the technical stuff from all these experts. And then at the same time, I work on the mindset.
Okay.
I start pulling out all the beliefs onto why you can't make 100,000 or 1 million or even more.
Gotcha.
And so through this conference, people come out transformed and they come out with tools.
Got you.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome, man. That's powerful.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's cool. So when does that take place?
That takes place this year. It's May 22nd to 24th, but usually April, May every year.
Okay. Right around the corner.
Yeah.
Right around the corner. So let me ask you this. So do you still find yourself battling with some of these or some stories, maybe not the same stories, but do you still find yourself battling the challenges of overcoming those stories?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
So they never go away.
There's my rule is the day I can walk on water, I've tackled every story there is to tackle. That's the measure right there.
I like it because I believe we're under construction for the rest of our life. And I like what you talk about, man. You can create it. You can create new stories. You can overcome those stories. You can overcome those challenges. So I definitely like that. So is there something you want to share and just lead with the audience?
Sure. Don't be afraid to be the happiest person in the room.
I like it.
All right. Happiness attracts money. Happiness attracts success. Happiness attracts amazing relationships. But a lot of people get taught that if you're really happy, they go, "What drugs are you in? What's wrong with you?"
Right.
Be happy.
Why are you so
happy.
weird? Right.
Right.
Why are you so weird? I got the question once. What are you so damn happy about? I'm like, why shouldn't I be happy?
Exactly.
And I interrupted you. I'm sorry, man.
No, that was absolutely right. I mean, this is the thing, because I mean, I can tell you are a happy person.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I am. I enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, we've been having fun on this. Like that's not like this is a really serious thing, and we want to change your lives, so we're not going to have any fun while we're doing it.
Right.
No.
Yeah, have fun changing your life, man. It's your life. You got to really enjoy yourself. There's no such. I find it. I don't understand why you want to go through your life miserable, but I can understand if you don't know how to change it. But I want you to understand, just like you said, you can change it. And what Shiraz is saying here is you have the power to recreate a new reality. And talk to me about where they can find the book.
How to Rewrite Reality is available on Amazon all over the world.
I see it back in the back. Is it small, or is it just that it's back there in the back?
It's just back on the bookshelf, so it looks small.
That ain't nothing. What is it, like pocket size? Because that's a pretty cool concept. If it's pocket size, I can carry it around.
No, it's 6x9 paperback.
So okay, cool deal.
Standard size. Yeah,
cool deal. And so, will there be a part 2?
I'm like right now I'm looking at how to do this. I think the next ones are going to be how to rewrite your money reality, how to rewrite your relationship reality, how to rewrite your health reality.
Oh, I like it.
Kind of like Chicken Soup for the Soul, but I'm just going to do like these kind of things.
So basically, there's pillars to this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. So you have any courses that you want people to and how can they connect with you?
So you can go to my company name is Energetic Magic, and the technique I use to clear beliefs in people which can help you clear a belief in as little as 5 minutes. It's called Energetic Magic.
Okay. I was
And
going to ask how you got that name.
That was a funny conversation because for me, I know it's about energy. I've studied how this works at a quantum level. So it's not like so much woo as it is physics.
Okay.
It's all about the shifts in energy in your mind and your body to rewire the neural pathways. So I was just talking to my friends about what to call it. And I said, it's got to be something about energy.
Yeah.
They're like, no, Shiraz. It's got to be about magic because you get change then, and it changes so fast. It's like magic. And I'm like, no, energy. And they're like, no, magic. And then we settled. So
I like it. It's energetic magic. Oh, unbelievable. That's a cool deal, man. So what's the biggest thing that you've accomplished that at one point you thought you'd never be able to do?
I think the one thing, well, I mean, the one thing was get rid of arthritis overnight.
Okay.
But I think extending from that, the fact that I can physically change my reality in minutes when I'm in that zone.
Okay.
And I do that more and more by practicing being in that zone over. And it's teachable. It's completely teachable. It's not like a special gift I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to know how to do it, check out Shiraz at Energetic Magic. I love it. Man, Shiraz, man, you truly are a momentum shifter. Like you said, when I heard your story about how you were able to overcome the arthritis, and you said to the point where your jaw was locked, right?
Yeah.
Close to being locked. I thought, man, that's huge to be able to change that. And you're dancing on stage and you're moving around. And not only that, you talk about some of the other stories of just shifting your mindset and being able to create the life that you want to live, man. That's awesome. And we know it's not easy, but we know you're going to work with them. And I want everybody who's listening today, go back and listen to this show because, ladies and gentlemen, this is powerful here. When he talks about your energy that's coming from within, man, you have the power to change your life. Hey, if you're going through it right now and nothing's working, give him a shot. Go back and listen to it. Take notes of what he's talked about and just implement them. Take your shot and see what happens. The worst case that can happen, you'll be happy.
That's it. We do have a lot of fun. When I work with people, it's all about having fun. And you're going to have to deal with a lot of dad jokes.
Yeah.
Other than that, you're good.
So that's a good one too. So now that you've made these changes, do you see, I always say that when you're on top of the mountain and you're not done yet, but you're at the top of one of your mountains that you've got to accomplish. Do you ever look down and see that you've changed the cycle of belief in those around you?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the thing is, as you go up, even if you don't intend to inspire, you don't intend to teach, people watching your journey become inspired.
Yeah.
So you affect everyone. It's amazing.
Yeah. I love it, man. And we're going to leave it on that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our show for today. Thank you for joining me and Shiraz on the Momentum Shift, the show designed to get you inspired, get you moving so you can get results. Why? Because we want you to live in the impossible. Impossible is only impossible because you haven't done it yet. Watch and see. With that, Shiraz, thank you for joining me. Looking forward to having you back again, my friend.
Oh, it'd be my pleasure. I had a great time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for this week. Until next week, just keep pushing because nobody's going to do it for you. Take care. Because I'm somebody who believes that the largest gap an individual will face is the gap that stands between where they are now and what they could become. So the question becomes, are you willing to climb? The greatest trick the mind will ever pull is convincing you that your greatness does not exist. Mama used to say, she said, Eric, what you do in the dark will come out in the light. And she means that you reap what you sow. You get what you put in. And so you got to put the work in. Why? Because you're going to step your game up and tap into that untapped potential of yours and become the greatest person that you can possibly become.
I woke up, I was about to lose everything. And so my wife was about to leave me. And that meant my 3 children were going to be gone, which really hurt me because I would fall short on a promise to my kids where I told them that I was their father nobody would ever be in their house taking care of them. Nobody would be responsible for them. They never had to worry about calling anybody daddy but me. Momentum shift. When you get stuck, you got to find a way to get going. And that is all about elevating your performance. You have to realize that high-level results are not products of low-level effort. So you got to step your game up. So you get stuck, you got to get yourself moving. And when you're down in the dumps, you're the only one that's going to be there. So you got to be your own hype man. What happens is when you don't realize that you have all that you ever need to create the life that you want to live, you're missing out. You're standing at the base of that mountain thinking and hoping somebody's going to save you when all you got to do is take action. Theodore Roosevelt said, he said that the credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena with their face marred in dust with sweat and blood. You got to get in the arena, claim your moment, take the opportunity to take your shot. Then when you're in that arena, think about this. I got to step my game up.
Eric's message was extremely powerful.
The power of overcoming is not just connected to you. You're rising because the people behind you are counting on you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric.
Transform your life at CEricCollier.com. That's CEricCollier.com.
Thank you for joining The Momentum Shift, a show bringing you interviews and stories of incredible people to help you get inspired, get moving, and get results to ultimately create the life-changing momentum shift that will improve your life. Join host Eric Collier, the mayor of motivation and mental quicksand expert, every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern for The Momentum Shift, the show and change you've been looking for.